case beforehand, right? And once, but you will not be allowed to take any notes at that time. So what you need to do, you need to just read for 20 minutes and then you go for a GI1. In case you clear the GI1, then in the GI2, the same case will be discussed. Guys, am I clear?
Sir, so like Harshul mentioned, after the people go to GI2, they
Yeah.
will also have their normal ethics questions, and in between, they will ask case study also.
Yes. So this is more of a, they were giving you case as well as these, the normal GI2 of SPJIMR that will be conducted. Then you can stick, actually almost same type of process you will also see in NM also. There's also a case-based GD is happening there. It's not exactly GD, but yes, you're going to get the case and then within the GI2 you'll be asked some questions or you'll be discussing few things. So I'm
So,
not
so
taking, yeah, Dhruv.
according to the once we have read the case in GI2, the questions that are asked will they be like technical types or even they'll be ethics questions, something like that.
So today only mostly the ethical questions were asked. The case that was given, it has only ethical questions,
Okay, fine.
ethical or dilemma based questions mostly. I'm not going to take this session, so Milan sir will join and he will run through it, but I'm just giving you the whatever I have got from the people who has appeared in the process today.
So, sir, about not asking questions in the GI1 itself, are they also checking our abilities to remember things and like speaking
Yes,
about it after a while?
yes, they haven't. I don't know why they haven't asked anything in GI1, but yes, maybe GI1 they are conducting same whole process same. Only thing is you'll be asked few questions specific to that case that you are getting in the start. The main
Okay.
problem here is how you are going to retain. So that is becoming very crucial now. So suppose you haven't remembered the part, but you have someone in your panel who is very good. So then you are going to get that disadvantage. So get into habit of remembering things that will help.
If in the GI2 they ask us like why are we testing this skill of yours? Because most likely they ask the question why we are conducting GI instead of a PI. So if they ask like why do you think we are conducting this type of activity? So other than this retaining skill, what can we speak about? What else are they trying to check out of us?
So first of all, retaining things is there. But most important thing is maybe previously they have seen they will be only giving you some hypothetical situations, right? So now they want to drive the complete interview. So driving in the sense, even before starting your GI1, you know what exactly will be asked later. So they are giving you some precursor or the early readings to start with your interview. So like that, you can structure your interview in the same way.
But uh, they are having more power. Not here. They will be. trying to test our retaining skills, and we will be someone who how to retain it. Then how can we drive our interview here?
You are not driving, they are driving the interview, right?
Okay, okay, okay.
So they are giving you the case on which you are going to ask someone later. So it means that they are sticking like half of the interview, they will be sticking to that case study only. So even before starting the GI2, they are telling you something that this is something you will be asked. So maybe though you are not allowed to take notes, but yes, if you are good at structuring your thoughts, then you can do that. Any other doubts, guys? You can ask now.
So like the case studies they are giving, so I checked other person's interview also on internet. So there also it was some FinShots case which they had lifted the article. So any prior knowledge or something would help, or we should just stick to only the paragraph they are providing.
I think that they have especially given that case, right? The Tata's
Yes,
on the Jamshedpur, right? Something of that sort.
Yes.
yes. So they have picked some paragraph from the newsletter and whatever was fitting in the 20 minutes in that portion they gave. And in another slot also it was some different article again from FinShots only. So should we go through through the archives or and research on such topics, or just stick to whatever two paragraphs they will provide?
Generally, in such scenarios, we only stick to that process, right? Only the text that was provided to you.
Okay, sir.
So Milan sir is here, so you guys can continue. I'll drop.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'll first give a brief of whatever I've heard from the candidates so that everyone is on the same page at least. So, with respect to the flow and the measurement of like what exactly is the role of case discussion, it is sort of replacing that, and it will be one of the things that will probably be discussed in your GI2s. I think that is a format largely being followed at least on the first day. And for the cases, those are fairly generic. You are given 20 minutes of reading time, and then there's a discussion in the GI2. So do not expect a lot from the. We don't expect a lot of technical understanding. So a basic business know-how should be good enough for the cases. So don't worry about preparing about business fundamentals, concepts, everything. Even if it is a operation supply chain type case, it won't be very in depth. Even if it is a marketing case, it won't ask you to create a GTM and everything. It'll be fairly basic. And largely because SP as a college itself uh, wants more value based, like value driven people. So largely the case discussion also revolves around what kind. There is again in cases there is no right or wrong answer. It's more about your process and what exactly are you deriving out of it, and what is the process that you follow to get to the answer. That is more important. Like when you are providing your solution, do have a perfect logical sense with respect to it. And yeah, I think that should largely be it. Apart from that, one more thing. So, one of the things that might help you solve or tackle these cases is the case prep. Shubham, have we like have they been given any sort of prep with respect to PESTEL frameworks or everything or anything of that sort? I think
They
Shubham.
have
We
they have
did.
they have management class, management
Okay,
framework class.
perfect. Perfect. Then probably the frameworks like Pascal, SWOT, all of these basic ones, you should be knowing, right? So use that to address all of these things because that will help you identify the stakeholders, that will help you identify possible solutions to the problem. It basically simplifies the problem for you in its entirety. So yes, focus on that a bit. Apart from that, um, yeah, for the cases, I think, for example, I think we're already discussing. Sanjit was talking about Tata case. Again, it's a very short case, around less than a page, as far as I remember. And yeah, that basically should is a brief summary of the things. What I can now take up any questions that you guys feel like.
Sir, can you please sum up the techniques like pestle and all?
Okay, so one would be Pestle, then another can be 5 Cs, which will help you understand all the stakeholders involved. So Pestle 5 Cs. SWOT is a fairly basic one. I wouldn't recommend using it until you have absolutely no idea what the situation is. So SWOT, Pestle, Porter 5 Forces if it's a company specific thing. Then Porter 5 Forces. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I think these should
Sir,
suffice for
they've
its general cases. For
provided a
if it's a
PDF.
marketing, sorry,
They have actually provided the PDF on the portal.
then please go through that. That should be more than helpful.
Which
Yeah, but
portal?
again, uh, PrepZone portal.
Okay.
The Prutaja, there was complete class that was taken, right? So if you missed, you can go through the video and as well as there are PPTs also.
Okay. Sir.
Perfect.
Management
Then that should
frameworks.
be a good resource. Yes. Anything else, folks? You wish to ask anything? How many of you have your GI tomorrow in Mumbai or in the next 2 3 days? Pragya, Trisha, anybody else? Cool. So we'll have more understanding probably once these better. Yes, folks. Any other questions with respect to case, with respect to GIs, anything?
Milan, so
Yeah. Go ahead, Pragya.
is it more like when we get this case, in before our GI1, we have to like go through it, and that's just about it. Go through it, understand it,
That's about it.
memorize or whatever, and then we'll straight move to the GI1. And
Yes.
if if we move to GI2, that's when we'll be discussing. That's the flow.
That's largely been the format for the day one at least, day one and all the slots that were there. So yeah, the like basic process was you guys get your documents verified, whatever they've asked for. Then you are given 20 odd minutes for the case reading or whatever understanding of the case. Again, since it's not a large enough case, you guys can go through it. You guys can probably give it multiple reads, at least 1 or 2 reads if you feel like it. Then you have your GI2, approximately 45 to 60 minutes. And then in the GI2, largely it has been discussed with respect to the cases. So that's been there.
Okay.
So there is a break between after the GI1, right?
Yes, there's around, I would say, half an hour or 45 minutes of break, which is a little anxiety inducing because you guys are awaiting results and all of these things that happen. So yeah, there's a break. There's a break for sure. Anything else, folks? And just largely the case that have been discussed right now on day one at least, they have not been very ethics oriented, so to say. They were largely business problems and all of those things. So maybe that is one of the possibilities since GI2 is largely a ethics and value driven round. So do you expect ethical dilemmas also to be coming up, ethical corporate dilemmas, like should you fire this person, should you not fire this person, all those sort of things also that might end up coming. And again, there is no right or wrong answer, but it's more about the process that you are following that is more important. So yes, that's there.
So, sir, earlier they used to focus on art form B in GI2 also.
Yes.
They do focus on GI1 also, but in GI2 they were more focused on personal and ethical things. So now that time is going to get reduced. So will they
Not
discuss form B?
yes. So previous years also they used to have your VAT responses and your form Bs. Now this case has replaced the VAT, so that form B wala aspect is still there. So
Okay.
it's not like they're going to completely disregard it, but I'm guessing since it's now a more case discussion in GI2, so that might end up happening that, for example, you might get more questions on your cases rather than your form B. But please do not take it for granted that it won't be happening, because that won't be the case. Yes. And I would love to see more of your camera if I can, because yes, it's far more interactive. Apart from that, anything else, folks? I know right now a lot of confusion is there. Probably once the Mumbai process ends, you'll have far more clarity on what exactly the expectations from cases. But yeah, meanwhile, do not stress about it. It's just about a comprehension. You guys have scored well in the CAT with respect to VRC, and that is something that is going to be useful here. So don't really fret about it. Oh my God, this change is happening. It happened for everybody else, and you should just focus on your core fundamentals. That's largely it.
So, sir, now how to prepare for it?
For prep, again, like I said, you don't need to prepare for it as such, but if you want to, probably just make sure that you're not caught off guard. You can focus on a little bit of case frameworks, like I said, pestle, 5 Cs, SWOT. If there's a marketing case, then 4 Ps. So all of those you can focus on, but again, it's not something that I would suggest that stretch too much time on, because it doesn't make sense for you to just prepare for this. It's going to be a discussion. If you have a viewpoint that is contradictory to what the other person believes, then it's not a problem as such. You can obviously do it. So, if, for example, a very arbitrary example, for example, the case is around firing or not firing a person, and you say that you want to fire that person because of XYZ reason, their ethical conduct, their misconduct, whatever happened, and the panelists is saying, no, no, you should give them another chance. Just acknowledge the other viewpoint that okay, what you are saying is looks right according to you and the information that you might have, but given the case and given the scenario, I would say that like my decision would remain to fire that person. So do acknowledge the other personal panelist views, but it's not like whatever they are saying is lucky matlab lucky ke fakir nahi ban jana. Whatever they are saying might be wrong, or they might be trying to push you to a corner so that you change your statements, but we also have to hold our ground given it is conveying logical sense. Right?
Okay, sir. One more clarity I needed.
Yeah. Sure, sure.
So, is it going to be a discussion in GI2 now? Cause
Nice.
will they throw
Never,
questions
never,
on a
never a
person? Like,
discussion.
what do you think about that person in the case? Is
They
that
can.
so, or like will it be discussion among us?
It will never be a discussion amongst the participants. It will always be a to and fro question between the panelist and the participant. They might ask you, for example, if the other person is saying, ki, for example, fire that guy, and you are of the opinion ki nahi, nahi, they should give another chance. They might say ki, how would you defend it against that argument? So you have to be aware that what other persons are saying and what other participants' stance is on that case. So
Okay,
you
sir.
have to be aware of that. Yes.
So in GI2, if a certain question we don't know the answer to it, like I'm just reading the one which today's
Sure, go ahead.
participant shared. So he shared that he was asked, do you think we can judge your morality and ethics in this 30 minutes? So in order to answer it, people can go in either ways and
Sure.
different arguments. And as an applicant, how should we like decide? And we are on the spot as well, and the
Sure.
interviewer will judge us whatever stance we take.
Definitely. So now in this case, it depends on you what exactly is something that you want to portray. So for example, if you want to, matlab, see, again, there is no right or wrong answer to this. There are people who would have gotten in, but they don't sort of deserve given the values and given the misalignment in values and everything. And there are people who might not have gotten it, but would be very integral, like they would have integrity and they would have the values. It's not like people who don't get selected in SP don't have values, right? They do have values. So there's obviously that. And if so, for example, if I had to frame something like, if I had to reply to this as a participant, what I would say is like there's obviously a consider, but I'll just give you whatever I would say exactly. So according to me, it is difficult to judge anybody within a short span of time. So this 30 minutes or 1 hour GI might not be the best way to judge any person's morality or values, but it would give you a fair bit of clarity of what exactly the person's thought process is or how exactly are they thinking about problems with respect, and we can obviously align them to what SPJIMR wants out of its students. So if SPJIMR is deeply interested in somebody who takes initiative or somebody who is value driven, then probably my past experiences and my explanation to those would indicate if I am a person like that or not. Given on top of this, given the years of experience that as panelists you guys have, I would believe that you see through people's lives and are able to catch the bluff. So the error of selecting participants who do not have integrity or do not fit in the values of SPJMR would be very less. But yes, there is a possibility that people might slip through. So that would be my answer largely to the particular question. Again, it's a diplomatic stance. That is something I prefer. I don't want to go either ways until unless I'm pushed to the corner absolutely. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Okay, sir.
Anything, folks? Folks, anything else?
I think that's it for now, madam.
Cool. Okay. Cool. If you have anything else, feel free to reach out to me or nobody. One more question. Do we need to dive into specialization? I mean, it depends on if it's a GI one, then probably yes, they would probably speculate, they try to probe around what exactly are your fitment with respect to the specialization, but not in GI two. Yeah.
Sir, are we going to have any mock case study right now?
Not right now, but I can probably share some cases that I can make and share it with you if that
Okay.
works.
Yes,
I'll
Sir,
try
what
to.
should we and what should we refer for the further practice?
There is nothing you can practice,
Specifically
honestly.
case studies, I'm saying.
There is nothing you can practice, and I would not suggest you also to go all out on a case prep because at this point, they don't expect a lot of review, but like I said, only thing that they expect is if you have the understanding of how to solve a problem. So even if it is not that exhaustive, it's fine, but they want to understand the process that you're following. Your basic process, for example, should be to understand clarifying questions, to have a basic sense of how to navigate through the problem. That is what they're largely looking at.
So the case study they give has a problem statement and everything, or are we just supposed to read the case and the questions will be given only in the GI2?
Yeah, see, it depends. For some of the slots today, there was a case, but there was a proper question attached. But eventually, in the GI2, the problem shifted to entirely different category. So I would say look at the problem as a whole. Obviously, if there's a problem statement given, prioritize that of like try to have a solution around that. But probably also figure out what other problems could be there within that within that case. So that would be my like go-to way in this case.
So the
Anything else?
Y, MBA, and HR questions, they likely come in GI1, right?
Yes, sort of. It's no hard and fast rule. They can ask in the second round also.
Yes, so my question was like I had a mock GI a few days ago, and feedback there was like whatever answers you give, like the points I've prepared, the panelist can pester on it and he can drag it
True.
multiple. And at one point, I was not able to give more argument to it. So, how you
See,
would
again, that is
suggest?
something that you have to prepare. For example, if I say that I am interested in marketing, anybody would ask me why marketing, why not any other thing. Then I would need to have a reason. For example, I really like branding and advertising as a whole, and I would want to work in that. Then my second line of questioning becomes why specifically advertising and branding and not other avenues of marketing. Then I would have another reason attached to it. And for example, that would be my core reason of doing my branding. But for me, it was if I want to create campaigns that I grew up seeing and which are timeless in their essence. So yes, that would be my logic behind that. So you need to prepare at least 2 to 3 levels deep. If I say any reason, I need to have 2 to 3 levels of why attached to it.
Sir, what is your specialization?
Marketing.
Okay. When it comes to OSCM, at what level should we prepare?
At what level as in?
Like level 1, level 2? Like I have experience from operations part,
Again,
but I
it's not dependent on your specialization. Any question, for example, if you say OSCM, why OSCM? You would give a reason. Ki, okay, I've worked in it and I'm probably planning to work in it. Why do you plan to work in it? Why did you choose it in the first place? And you would have one reason attached to it. Then probably again, why is that exactly that the reason of you choosing OSCM? So it's not something that is spec dependent, but it's more around your own, like you should know yourself or your workings, right? It can't be the case if I ask you, for example, which random question again, which hometown do you belong to, and then which if I ask you the meaning of that word, your hometown name, you should be knowing it, right?
yes.
So that's how I want it to be.
So in values also, like while being a student of SPJIMR, what do you think are the most values they are looking for?
You can go through the website. I mean, you'll find the exact
It's
answers
okay
there.
there.
Find the
Okay,
five,
okay.
you'll
Sure.
find the 5 values there. And apart from that, yeah, I mean, those are the basic values that any college would have. It's not like SP is very different in that sense. But yeah, they ideally stress on getting those candidates that resemble or highly portray those values. That's it. Nothing else. Cool, folks. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
If not, probably we can just give me a quick thumbs up and you can leave. Anybody who wishes to say, I'll be here for next 5 minutes or so.
Thank you, sir.
No problem, buddy. Okay. I think the bunch you raised your hand by mistake.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah, I had one question.
Go
So
ahead.
I have been shortlisted for PGDM Finance, and my second preference is BM. So
Okay.
will I be asked like why BM also, or
Not really. Not really. They don't really discriminate between the courses because it's essentially the same. It's just because of IATCA or CTA, whatever that is, that they had to have two different courses, but it's pretty much the same.
okay? And also, like I was reading someone's transcript or some message in a group. They said that we need to know about a dream company we want to work in, or like
That's a basic
in.
interview question. That's not something that is SP focused. If you give any basic interview in India, they are MBA in India is largely fixated around placements, right? So you can have a dream company to work for. Ideally, it should be the one visiting campus and not something out of the place. But yeah, that's largely it.
Like, so the thing is, like, if I'm shortlisted for finance, I have interest in finance, but not a particular specific domain in finance. Like it can be IB or
That's
wealth
also fine.
management,
That's
and
also fine.
choosing a single company is like
That's fine.
just for
I
the
mean,
sake of interview.
you, yeah, you can give, for example, I like to work for these companies because they have good wealth management or XYZ services.
Okay, so I thought the reason needs to be very personal, like you have seen them grow or something of
Not
that sort.
really, not really, not really.
Okay.
Cool.
And like I know that you are from the marketing, like you have chosen marketing as your specialization, but do you have any idea like what sort of questions can be asked to a finance, the
Yeah,
person who has chosen finance pick?
for technicals, that would largely revolve around, for example, stock market or capital structure and everything. So that's majorly it. But again, there's no hard and fast rule because do you have work ex or are you a fresher?
I have WorkX, but I don't have WorkX in finance background. I have
Okay.
CFA till level 2. I
Yeah,
have
then
completed.
for example, your subjects from CFA might be something that they're interested in. So you have to ask them, or as in you have to prepare for them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Madam, I had a quick question. Like, I have about 3.5 year work ex. So how
Hmm.
much do you think important is like my grad
Not
subject?
really. Not
No.
really.
Okay.
I mean, I would
Even
prepare
if
for
it,
the basic ones or the like most common ones, but not really in depth. 3.5 as a work ex means your education, or so to say, those subjects would have been taught you at least 5, 6 years back. Are you an engineer by any chance?
sorry.
Are you an engineer by any chance?
Yeah, I'm an engineer. Yep,
Then it happened at least 7 years back for your term one.
yep. Yeah,
It doesn't make sense at all, at least to me. I would not really be asking you questions on your academics unless I just want to roast you or grill you in that sense.
makes sense. Okay, thank you.
So yeah, why do I feel the other people have left the laptop? Okay, folks, if there's nothing else, I'll close the session.
Like
If
as
uh,
yeah, I have one. So
go
as
ahead, go
Diganto mentioned that he has 3.5 years of work ex. So I have 17 months of work ex, but I have a gap year since Feb
ahead. But
24.
work ex would largely be around 1.5 years, right?
Yeah.
So you still, for them, you still have a purview of academics. So do prepare a slight bit of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Like subjects,
good.
subjects for working should be like the ones which we liked, or it can be anything, like they just
The
go
most
through the
common
mark
one, for
sheet.
example, if there's economics, then you would ideally prepare for it. If there is accounting, you would prepare for it. For example, for you, brand management or advertising or marketing wouldn't really be that big of a concern. You prepare
Like
for a financial.
I did BCom, so I had
Yeah,
accounting also, like
subject,
cost accounting, management accounting, and
your
financial
finance
accounting.
subject, your finance subjects like priority there.
Okay, like financial management and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. हाँ जितेंद्र बताइए.
सर मेरा NMIMS का 31st को है इंटरव्यू वगैरह,
हम्म.
तो उसमें मैंने सुना है AI बेस्ड इंटरव्यू हो रहा है, ठीक है?
AI बेस्ड इंटरव्यू मतलब?
वो तो मेरे को भी नहीं पता सर होगा क्या, लेकिन मैंने बस ये सुना है AI बेस्ड PI होगा उसमें। तो मतलब कैसे होता है, जैसे ग्रेट लेक्स का होता है ना, उस टाइप का कुछ है बोल रहे हैं।
I have not heard about it. I can check and get back to you because I have not heard about anything like that. मतलब मुझे आइडिया नहीं तो मैं क्या बताऊंगा.
मतलब किसी का ग्रेट लेक्स का अगर इंटरव्यू हो गया है ना, तो उससे हम लोग आइडिया लग सकता है ये किस टाइप का है।
एक बार ही सुबह में शांत में किसी को मैसेज कर दीजिए, तो दे विल बी एबल टू हेल्प यू फाइंड समबडी जिसको आइडिया हो, या तो NM के कोई मेंटर होंगे तो उनसे पूछ लेंगे, बट आई वुडंट हैव एनी आइडिया अबाउट दिस एग्जैक्टली.
ठीक है सर।
हाँ जमीर.
The last year का we have a PI kit. So do you have any idea, like 2025 का भी, is there any PI kit released by SPJ?
मोर और लेस तो सेम ही रहेगा यार. आई मीन
अच्छा,
इट वोंट रियली बी
okay,
डिफरेंट.
ठीक है.
हाँ. हाँ नीलर.
Yeah, hi. I actually wanted to ask I am one of those MDI deferred candidate जो last year हुआ था issue with
Okay.
MDI. So I mean I'm in a dilemma whether I should mention that in my PI or not.
Not really. Avoid it. Avoid it. Avoid it.
I mean just for the sake कि if I have a gap year this year, I mean I'm
If
not
they push you to a corner saying कि why did you do it? Why did you do it? Then from tell
okay.
them कि okay you were there for MD and then that entire fiasco happened. But
Yeah.
ideally avoid it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Cool folks. I'll close this session now. I hope this was helpful and